Hey guys, this is my review for Flying Tiger's Shadows over China. So in this game you play as American pilots who are flying for the Chinese Air Force. And then basically you just go on random missions for the Chinese and just blow stuff up and shoot other airplanes and shoot stuff on the ground and drop bombs. You get given random airplanes in the campaign. You don't get to choose or customize or anything like that. And then basically you'll just go on the mission, do the objectives. If you try to go off and do your own thing, it'll basically just fail you or restart you. So there's not a whole lot of like being able to do what you want, but there is free play mode where you can just fly around and do whatever you want. So it's not a big deal that you can't really do your own thing in the campaign. There's also online playing with other people, which is pretty dead. Pretty much no one plays it, and if you do find people playing it, the ping will be really, really bad. So it's not really the most exciting thing to do. But as a flight simulator on its own, it's not the best one I've played. It's definitely, the controls aren't the best. It's very simple. The damage is really, really low on your character. The AI does way more damage than you do. It takes quite a while to destroy certain planes, and other planes will die really quickly. So it's not super balanced, but I think it's just made that way. Especially when you get to multiplayer. If you get to multiplayer, there's certain planes that you can play as where they just completely annihilate everyone, and then there's some where they just will just die all the time. So it's not the most balanced game, but it was alright. It doesn't take very long. You're looking at maybe 3.5 hours of gameplay from this game before you hate it and you just want to throw it out a window. But otherwise, it's not the worst game I've ever played, especially for a flying one. But I think they could have done so many things better. The missions in general is basically you're either playing as a bomber or a fighter airplane, or sometimes they do a mix. There are naval missions where you have to drop like torpedoes into the water and blow up a ship or something like that. And then there's bombing runs where you have to either bomb an airfield or shoot random people on the ground with a fighter. And then there's just general air combat where you either have to escort some bombers and try not to let them get damaged. So you have to stay in formation at certain points, or you have to fight other fighter planes and blow them up before they do so much damage to some target or something like that. Basically, I didn't find this game to be that challenging. I think the most annoying thing in it is probably the bombing view, because you sort of lose control of your plane and it just drifts down while you're looking in the bombing view. I think the narration on the missions also cuts out about halfway through, but this is an early access game at the moment when I played it, so it hasn't been completely developed yet, which is alright, because I mean, I understand that they really need to add more stuff, but from what I've gathered, they're not necessarily adding new levels or anything like that. They're just considering adding new stuff based on what the people playing it are saying. At this point, I'd probably say there's not much point in adding that much stuff because it's not that good as is, or in general, for their general gameplay and combat and stuff, it's just not that good compared to other types of games like this out there. But still, it's got an interesting storyline to it. The missions aren't that interesting, but it's based on history. As far as I know, I'm not sure how accurate to history it is, but it was still quite interesting. I never knew that like Americans flew for the Chinese, but it's good to give it a go. I think there is maybe 12 stages in the campaign, and they're not that long. They take maybe between 10 and 20 minutes each, so it's not that long of a game. But yeah, if you can get some mates to play online, it can be a lot more fun. But for for it, it's alright. Graphics wise, it was pretty average. Same with sound effects. Sound effects were absolutely horrible. Your guns made less noise than your engine. That's pretty much what it was. It was just so annoying. It's just machine guns. It's set like back before. I don't even think rockets were around when this game is meant to be set. So it's not super exciting combat. They don't really have a lot of like you shoot someone's wing off, the plane will spiral out. It's more like you shoot them when they hit a certain point in their health bar, they'll start smoking. You shoot them again, they'll just die and sort of just explode, and then your screen gets covered in this oil stuff, and then it's pretty much over. But yeah, I mean, definitely not the best game. I'd probably just give it a 5 out of 10, just because of how lacking in content it is and how averagely the gameplay is. It's just not the best. Yeah, but I mean, it was good to give it a playthrough, so I didn't necessarily overly hate it, but still. So yeah, it's just my opinion game. Make sure to drop what you thought in the comments below this, but this is an early access game, so it may change over time, but at the moment, I'd just say it's a 5 out of 10. Okay guys, see ya.